the kids that are going to school to study, whether motion pictures, film, or whatever, to get the same pressure from these old school cats that have never went to school for this and want to make people that went to school feel like it's the wrong decision. You're not supposed to go to school for this. We are the one that running this industry. I hate it, and I don't want people that don't have passion for the industry to be working on sets because they kill the morale of the set. Shooting a film is a delicate thing. We can't be sitting there and then already telling people that you are left with 1 hour, let's start doing. You are killing them. It's a film. It's a sensitive thing that you are doing. And just going to a film set because you are looking for a job, it's not the right thing. I think people that must be focused on are these kids that are coming up, that are passionate, that are going to put their hearts into the film.
Hello everyone, welcome to another delightful episode of the Film Biz Show, the only show where we delve into industry professionals' minds to get their insights on the current landscape of the film and television business, both in South Africa and internationally. Please subscribe, like, comment, and turn on the notification button so you are aware of our future episodes that you will love so much. Now, in this episode, we want to focus on a platform that many people misinterpret the value of in the filmmaker's way forward. And this filmmaker is able to help us understand the value of the Mzansi Magic platform to push you to the top as an entry point. A multi-choice talent factory alumni with 10 years of experience in the industry, this filmmaker has worked on various projects in camera and directing. To name a few, there are many. He's worked on Greed and Desire, The Queen, The Voice Nigeria, Outside, Love Back, and the likes. As a director, he's made films such as Bochomi, Papa Youthful, Bomma, and my personal favorite, Mkhize to Masemola, and 6 in the City. He won the Best Rising African Star Award from the Johannesburg Film Festival in partnership with MultiChoice. Everybody, please, let's welcome Khanki Star Bahlele.
I'm welcomed, right?
You definitely are.
Yes, yeah, thank you very much. That's a nice intro. Makes me think, wow, what a journey. Yes.
Yeah, you certainly have walked that journey. But I mean, as one was thinking, I'm reading your bio, you've done extensive work within this business. But, every time we mention your name, one can't help but ask themselves, where does the name Star come from? Please tell us.
Well, the name Star, which now I've officially adopted in all papers, it started in grade 1. It used to be Star Funa Funa. It was given by a close friend of mine who stayed down the street in my hood in Lebahomu called Skodi Ramakopa. And maybe it started from just this energetic young boy playing sports, both soccer and athletics. Don't see me like this now. Yeah, used to be good.
Like what, man? You look so athletic.
Yeah, I started there and it just kind of went through primary, high school. Probably by the time I got to high school, the Funa part fell out and it was just Star. And I was Star in so many things. It was a star of sports, star of books, certain subjects there and there, maths. I was good at maths. And then after matric, my tertiary life, it became also attached to me in some of the behaviors I would do, like, you're such a star. And then I found film, and then it went on with film Star. That's how it is.
Man, that's amazing, man. But I mean, just let us know, how did you get introduced to this world of filmmaking? What was it that actually called you to the space?
What called me to the space? I remember one moment. I think this was when I was 19 years of age. I had this friend of mine who were chilling at his house, and it was a long night of consuming things that 19-year-olds can consume. And then in the morning, it was 6 a.m., terrible headache. And I was sitting there and I was like, what if we just, there's so much bodies on the floor, people are asleep. And whatever. But it was just the two of us. I'm just imagining at that point of time, saying everybody's on the floor, whatever, and we are the ones that wake up and inside this old school, because at the time they had that old school VHS video recorder. We had this one pale or liquid that was in there that will just take and sip, and we are the ones that are functioning well while everybody's suffering. And then he was like, hey, if we find such a product, that's a good advert for it. You're good in thinking these things. You must do film. Hey. And then it kind of, I started thinking about it that way. And then one time in matric, the principal, who was my English teacher, one day just walked into class and did a random example and said, Star, you and Mr. Mabuza, it's a commentary, it's a sports match, Chiefs and Pirates were playing, talk about it. And I just went on talking, and then after that, she was like, I think you must focus more on the media side of things and stuff like that. And then that's when I started doing a lot of research, and then I found Boston Media House. That's where I started my studies. Got my diploma from there, and then from there I moved on to try and do radio, which was in Rustenburg. Oh, what a journey. I was not getting paid there. I used to work every day. The computers were not even going. So basically, we were not even going online. I was just talking alone. But it was just the thought of just being in there, and I would take pictures, and people think I would actually be at work. But no, and that's what I was not getting paid, and the computers were not on. So none of that worked. And then I decided
it was just a waste of time.
Yeah, I worked every day for 6 months just to go sit behind.
But I respect you, man.
Yeah,
I respect you.
I continued with my show. Hey, although the show was for me and the people, the securities that were there, and all the other people who were inside there, they were entertained. I'll literally just go on, and then after that, play music with the radio that was there, as if the music is coming up, come back, back title the song, and continue for almost 2 hours, and then a knock off in the 35-degree sun in Rustenburg, walk back to my cousin's place. Same thing in the morning for 6 months, until I was like, man, I'm tired. I really want a story. And then that's how I found AFTA, and I went to AFTA, and then I got my motion pictures degree at AFTA. And then, then I jumped into the game.
Proud of you, man. I love stories like that, because for someone else, you they say you have to be a little crazy in your mind to follow a dream. You know what I mean? You can't be, that's a normal bloke looking for, I mean, for someone to be, I'm really sorry about this, but to be able to go everything, to shit your whole thing, and no one hears you.
No one.
And you're the only guy.
Yeah. The computer doesn't go on.
No, man, no. My level of respect for you really is on another level now, And we're only laughing at this now because you've been able to achieve so much.
Yes.
And you've shown everyone that did not believe in this young man who was so enthusiastic, who was so obsessed with telling stories. Now they look at you now and they can't believe. So, that's the value of dreams. But I want to touch on something. In South Africa, we tend to look down on micro-budget films, what we usually call bioscopes, television films that were put out there. And that seemed to be actually what has turned your career around as a storyteller. Could you just let us know how you got into the space of being of telling these films and how your journey started as a director?
Bioscopes, well, a very good platform, I must say. But I just want to take it a little bit back. For me to end up also having that strong willpower of writing stories, it boils down to the culture of South Africa, what I've experienced. That's why I was so confident in my directing skills. Started off from my high school days when I got expelled. I was quite a naughty, wild individual back in high school. So I got expelled from my school, went to another school in the hood. It was a private school, went to a school in the hood. And then when I was there also, I didn't school for the remainder of the year. But I had to always come up with stories of why to my parents and what stories when they ask me, how was school? So I have to always formulate stories. So I think it started there, the storytelling techniques. Even to my teachers, weren't you in class? I always came up with a good story. And then I finished the year. Obviously, I failed because I didn't really attend at that time. Then I moved to a school in Hampasad in Limpopo called Hahatlo. That's where I'm telling you the story of where I met the principal and he said, you must consider going into media. So coming to the Bioscope side of it, it's a brilliant platform for someone to reach the goals they want to reach in terms of before you even hit the features. It's like I don't want to use the word playground, but it's a space where you learn your craft. Yeah, it gives you an opportunity to explore your craft, where you want to be in the craft. So I always wanted to be a director. I shot a lot of reality shows, films, but nobody took me serious when I said I want to be a director. And I've applied a lot of companies, and I've went to companies selling them concepts that I had in my mind, and you just think, no, maybe I'm not experienced enough or stuff like that. Until I started writing concepts or like 2-page concepts and stuff like that. And I found out about the portal of MultiChoice where you can submit concepts from Mzansi Magic. And then
The portal? How did you find out about the portal? How did that happen?
research. Yeah, I just took a simple thing, how to submit content on MultiChoice. And then there's so much links that come up. They'll tell you portals and you'll find a link that's just there. And then when you go in there, you'll see all the channels that you see on TV, Mzansi Magic, Show Max, One Magic, Africa, all the channels that you see on the bouquet are there. And then I clicked on Mzansi Magic and I saw it said proposals, but they were written there, we're not taking proposals, something like that at the time. But I said, you know what, I've been trying, giving people might as well just throw it in there, you never know. I did throw it in there, submitted. I got an email back that says, no, received within 90 days. If you don't hear from us, consider it as a decline. And then I had my fingers crossed. 3 months passed, of course, the decline. I tried another one. And then also that one, funny enough, I got a response. It said decline. Then there was this one concept of mine that was very close to me, and I felt it was a brilliant concept, which I hope one day it was going to be the change of my life, where I wanted to sell it to big studios or whatever. But where are you going to find big studios? So I was desperate, and I was like, you know what? I took the concept, I reworked on it. I actually took out a lot of good things out of it, and I left a little bit of a percentage just to hook them, and I submitted them. And voila, I think after like 4 weeks, I got an invitation that come through for a pitch. Was the best day of my life. I remember I even went to find a T-shirt and a new tie and stuff like that, and I went all the way to Rembek to pitch there, trying to look like I'm a producer. I'm not going to run away with your money. It's clean. I got in there, pitched, failed the pitch. Yeah, didn't get the pitch. Did a second one, didn't get the pitch. The third one, which was called Ifamutumoto, that's where it went in. They liked it so much, and they were like, okay, yeah, here's your production. Then you go through the onboarding process. Yeah. But then from there, I did it. Funny enough, I shot it because I was good with camera. So I wanted to make sure that I deliver quite a good product, and I didn't trust anyone. I said, this is my project. I'll do it my way. I hired a director. I shot it. Then after I shot that one, while we were doing subs and stuff online, editing and MultiChoice, I was waiting for the sub ladies. I opened my laptop and I started writing a concept called Machanza, about a guy who stays at the car wash and uses customers' cars to go lie and hit on women, until one day one of the women believed in his story that he's a doctor, and now he has to run around trying to find a house and stuff like that to prolong the line, and eventually they found out that he's lying. So I wrote that concept, I put it in, I went to pitch it, they loved it. And that was the first time I hired myself as a director. And ever since then, I've been director. I think I'm on my 27th Bioscope and 5 features down the line. Well done. And award-winning.
Well done, man. Well done. That is the spirit. That is the spirit of but basically you standing up for yourself and just making sure that you make things happen.
Definitely.
What was it that kept you going when you got
the dream? It's the passion. If you don't have the passion, you don't have the dream. You won't have. I mean, I at the recent JFF, I came across one of my lectures, and it was like, you're just this ball of fire, even at school. So sometimes you don't even see yourself. But I knew myself, I was driven by the passion. Like I say, I went to Media House. By the time I went to AFTA, most of my peers were done at school. They were working. They were doing what. But there was just this thing out, this is what I want. And the only thing that drove me to finish there after was the passion. If you don't have the passion in this, you're really not going to survive. From the hours that are in there, yes, it's normal hours, but we go over 16 sometimes. It's rough out there. If you don't want to learn from starting from the bottom, being assistants to directors that are out there, finding a corner on set to see how he's blocking a set, a specific scene, going into different departments. I went to different departments, going to the grapes department, seeing how all these steel things I never knew their names, how they work. And lighting department, what light is this? How does it work? What effect does it do on the face? So I went through a lot of departments so that by the time I come out, I know much. That's why when I come out, it's like most of the people on set can't shy me and say, this can't do this can't do that. Plus, I come from a cinematography point of view, so that's one of the strongest points I have from a directorial point. And then from there, the story is just there in my head, comes from everything I come across in life.
Ah, man, it's wonderful. Wonderful. But now you said you came across this portal. I mean, I know a lot of people, when they see portals, and the whole idea of having to submit their intellectual property, to put it in someone's lap and you don't know what's going to happen. Weren't you skeptical?
I was, but it's a gamble. I was. You've heard stories that, hey, this show that plays on this channel, it was my story. I remember reading something on Sowetan front page. Hey, that was my story. I submitted it one hand, and obviously, as you write, you are so attached to this concept. So the first time, yes, and till the one I wanted, it was quite a scary process. Like, I'm letting go of this thing and anybody can find it and then they can take over it and you'll just see on TV. But at the end of the day, we are looking at the broadcaster. The page looks legit and you're like, it's a big broadcaster. And let me try my shot. I just tried my shot. But I was also confident, like, if it's gone, I'll write another one. Yeah. I believe I've learned to not be attached to concepts, because you might even bring it in and you find that they've got a similar story.
It's true.
And somebody brought it in.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, touching on that, sometimes I do feel as if, and obviously we've heard heartbreaking stories of, people's ideas being stolen. I mean, I know one producer who put in 1 million of their own money. I literally met them at an event, and this person was so depressed. They put 1 million of their own money into a pilot. And next thing, voila, a streamer had taken that pilot and they did their own thing. And he gave that whole concept to them and he spent this money and another person was completely broken bankrupt. But there are ways around that. And I do feel as creatives, sometimes we hold on too close to ideas. And what's the value of having an idea for 5 years that will most probably never be put on, because you hold on to it so close. You're not even sharing it with other minds who will critically look at it and dissect it. And, sometimes I think it's yes, you can cover yourself, have an NDA. You can just Google an NDA on Google and just edit it and be able to, get someone to sign it. But at the end of the day, I think it does take some level of letting go.
Letting go.
It has to let go.
You have to let go. It's like, even after you get a decline from a pitch or something like that, you still have that thing, what if by do something with it? It's usually you have to let go. You can't. It's like as a writer, I'm sure you write, but you have to let go and go give it to the producers and directors to go on with it. To go create. You'll see the end product of what vision, and it might have changed from what you wrote as they come with their creativity. You just have to let go. It's that step. I mean, it's a risk enough to catch your taxi from wherever you come from and come to Johannesburg. You're letting go of your family and what? You have to let go. And you can't sit and say this one concept is the one that's going to open doors for you. Probably you have to do 30 films before somebody big recognizes you. So and what is the use if you're not writing and submitting? You are not exercising that writing skill. Or
it's
that
true.
you need to do. Because at first, maybe you don't even know the format of how they write it. That's what you write things the way your mind puts it there, but that's not even a format. Or they read it, they're like, hey, it doesn't even sound right. And maybe that's where you think, maybe they're not even responding to your things because you're not putting it in the right format of writing. You are not doing enough research as an individual yourself. There's all this, like the Johannesburg Film Festivals, all these channels come there. That's your opportunity to ask questions. How does it work? Do you guys actually read? Do what? You can't just go sit down, have a beer, and then balabala. Because that's what a lot of people do. Sit down, have a beer, and balabala. You don't stand up and go, to all these platforms. I mean, there's no COVID anymore. Who knows? You can just you can wake up and go to multi-choice there at the reception and say, I've got a concept. How do I do? Maybe themselves you'll feel more comfortable. They say, here's a link to the portal. This is where you must put it. So why don't you do that? It's not COVID. You can go there and say, I'm here to how I need help. I want to submit something. How do I submit it?
And I mean, in the process and your journey that you've walked, this is 12 years you've been in this business now. I'm sure you've seen a lot of people start and fall off it and let go, and you've been witnessing quite a lot of that. And I was asking myself, okay, but what is it? And it's just, as you said, it is the passion. But how have you been, putting it together to a point where you're able to sustain your life at this point?
First mistake I think people do is having those eyes for the money. You get your micro budget and you're thinking, I'm taking 70% of this and I'm putting 30 into the film. Your first big problem. Clearly that also tells me you don't want to invest in your craft. Yeah, you're not investing in the craft. How do you expect the client to also invest back in you when they don't see what you bring to the table? So that's the problem I see people do. So I used to, throw everything into the craft, and I say, hey, this must blow their mind. They must see the quality I put in there. They must see the story I put in there. They must see the actors I have in here. They must see the storyline. And maybe they can trust me more to say, hey, when you send another one, they say, another good one. It still has to be good at the end of the day. Another good one, they can say, oh, okay, do it again. Do this one again. So I think there's nothing else. I think people, it's just greed. They just don't want to grow their craft. They just want the money quickly. So if that's the case of you wanting money, I think you are slightly moving around in the wrong industry, especially in South Africa. You need to craft your skill of whatever you are doing in terms of the work ethic you put in, the crew people that you are finding. You can't just take people that have no idea in holding a camera and say you'll run the whole set. No. Put everything in that pay crew and get your product. That product is going to get you another product. That other product is going to get you 10 products.
Now tell me, as a director who has technical know-how, obviously before you started, getting into the director's chair, you were playing, you were working very much with the camera. How, stepping into that space, obviously as an inexperienced director, producing your own work, how did you have the confidence to communicate with your DOP? Because, you would know from set, I've experienced it many times where an experienced DOP is working with an inexperienced director and they take advantage. They make you feel that they know more than you. How were you able to carry your own when you were starting out?
I know the story. DOP don't read scripts, not a lot of them. They read, I know the story. That's your first confidence. You know the in and out of story, whether they wake you up in the middle of the night and say, what happens when he opens the door? No, Maria falls and then there's a light bulb that falls and then they find the piece of paper that was written by his ex. You know the story, left, right, and center. That's your first confidence when you walk on set. And nobody can shake you if you know the story. They have to listen to where the story needs to go. Then from there, of course, I had the advantage of knowing camera. So knowing all the shots that need to be covered. Some is just maybe me knowing those shots. There's a shot like this. That's what I'm saying. Coming from camera, it was the confidence that came in. So, not that the DOPs don't help a lot. They help a lot, this experienced DOP. They can tell you, but if we started here, we do it this way, you can get this out of it. Also have the ear to listen to them. But you must still have your standing ground. Or, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I think I'm not going to hit the beats. And this is the beats that I want to hit in the scene. So if your shot is starting from there on the wide and going all the way there, I'm not getting it because I want to open this scene with a close-up because this person has got an eye problem and something keeps dropping in his eye before I cut to the wide. Can we start it there? And then, so basically all I'm saying is that if you know the story better, you'll have the confidence to explain to them. And once they see that you know what story you're talking about, they will start also listening and say and understanding, hey, this person knows the story. But the moment you are shaky with the story, if they say, but let's put the camera here and then slide, because they will want to try all these fancy shots. Yes, fancy shots are nice, but if the fancy shot is not helping the beat or the story move forward, it's useless. So that's why you need to show them, I know the story very well. And I'm asking you guys here to help me move with this vision that I want to put out there.
Now, it seems as if, comedy is a space of speciality for you. I do know that people from the North are very much well versed with comedy, and I think we, naturally are funny people. But tell me about your niche in comedy, how you were able to carve that out, and what's your approach to these stories? How do they come to you?
First of all, comedy, I've heard a lot of people from my lectures, from people in the streets, from people in the industry. As I was coming in, comedy is hard. You can't do comedy. Let me put it out there. I don't find it hard. It's the easiest thing I could possibly do. Maybe drama is hard. Whatever other genre out there are hard. It's the simplest thing. And maybe for me, it's an extension of my personality. Maybe. I don't know. But there's nothing hard about comedy. I don't want to lie. Secondly, it's I think the biggest thing is in my comedy doing is relevance. I mean, people need to relate to those beats. That was obviously to add some creativity to make it different, but people need to relate. Something is funnier when somebody also relates to it. Yeah, whether they saw someone or they know someone, they must see themselves in it, or they saw someone in it, they saw their uncle, their mother, their father, their friends, or whatever. That's, you must also play around those little things. And then it boils down to casting. It's my favorite thing, and it's the most important thing. Yeah, you can't just cast any face that you. That's why I love auditions, and I still don't love online auditions, because you are not getting a lot. I want to see them in person. So even if I'm tweaking something, I'm saying let's try it this way, and because you might pick up, e.g., the way they walk, and you can implement it into the character. Like, oh, I see he walks this way, he's got a limp, or whatever the case may be. So I don't know how to best answer you, because comedy is simple. Come on, guys. To me, I think it's an extension of my personality, and I think I excel with it. And you can give me any scenario, and I can turn it into a comedic scenario. Although I did one day challenge myself, but that's because after I studied a character, there's a film I did called Abu Mkulu, and I called Jeffrey Skele, who's on House of Zwedi and stuff. Oh, he's done Jerusalem. Always a serious individual. And I said, I want to put you on a comedy film. We went back to back. He's like, no, film. I mean, comedy. What do you mean? I've never done comedy. What? Stop, man. I'm serious. I said, no, there's something I call, I don't know if this word exists or what, but I call situational comedy. That's how I call it.
You hear that? Situational comedy. We're learning.
You could be the president. Don't have any sense of humor. I can make you have sense of humor according to the situation or the position I place you in. Like, e.g., the simple things I did to him. There's a scene where I made him go to Melville and youth in a club. Where the wardrobe I made him dress. It's got brand hoods, and then I mixed the t-shirt with modernized t-shirt because the shops they went to. So he's already looking somehow. And obviously, me knowing South African market, you must also understand the market. It's not like I was doing something for international where they don't know you. Knowing the South African market, I knew the moment I break his wardrobe, he's going to look weird to them because they're used to him playing this character. Because people in South Africa are attached to their characters. That's why they still call them with character names. Even after movies and what, they still call them. So I changed the wardrobe so that they can look at him differently. Then secondly, I put him in a situation where I like, e.g., one of the scenes is putting him on a table, and I brought modernized things, tequilas. I made the scene as if tequilas were going on and on and on. And there's this personal song that's very personal. I have established it through the movie that it's so close to him, and you are seeing it from this matured, big-bodied, old-school man. So once the liquor hits in the way I created the illusion, I said, and it hit me when I was outside, I said, let's sing that song now, but now in a drunk manner. And I gave him an ice bucket, and I said, you are drunk, you are thinking of your 19 Bamban days. So he's drinking from an ice bucket, and then he's singing the, what's the name of the song again? I want to sing it. Okay, I forgot the name of the song.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's what I did to it. And I was seeing comments where after the film played, those scenes the way they were talking about, like, what? That was so funny. It's because he's not funny. I just made him drink this and sing this song in a drunk manner. He's a performer, he can do that. And then the music I cue behind and the wardrobe, already I've changed him. He looks funny without him acting funny. That's why I don't know. I'm saying the best word is situational comedy. That's what I call it for myself. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, one thing I've heard from some of the best comedians, they say, you know, what makes comedy work is the element of the unexpected, the element of surprise. You know, when someone says something you don't expect, that's funny. But when you kind of expect a gag or expect a situation or expecting the situation Brajev to wear the same way he wears all the time, there's nothing there. So I love your understanding of the craft of that. But I want us to go back a bit. You know, the Best Rising Africa Star Award from the Johannesburg Film Festival. Which year was this? How did you get? How did MultiChoice actually get to identify you as an upcoming filmmaker? And for you to get the award, how was that experience?
Getting the award was a very dope experience.
Yeah.
How I got it, I just got an email. You're invited to the Johannesburg Film Festival. You must wear a suit, touch of gold. Didn't know anything about it. Yeah. And then, but there was something funny about the events leading up to that day. Like, I'll get calls from my mentors, Bobby Healy, like, hey, are you coming? You better come. Yeah, then someone will be, are you coming? You better come. So obviously they know something I don't know. And then I said, okay, I'm coming. Then I
were you suspecting by then?
I was already feeling like, man. You know, something
you knew you were nominated, or
no? I didn't know. I didn't know. No, I think it was supposed to be a surprise element. Or I didn't know that the actual day of the awards. That's what I knew, because there was a lady from events who sent me an email. You are nominated for what, please showcase yourself there. And I even felt like, oh my, you sure not supposed to tell me, because the feeling was even going to be better if I'm sitting there and they're calling out my name. But yeah, they told me. And then I was there at the theater at the square, and sitting along the likes of Abu Patu and all these giants that are there. Goodwin, people I look up to, big writers that do big shows, and we're sitting on the same row. And then my category came towards the end, and they said, this is a new category that we have included this year, and it's called Best African Rising Star, and it goes to Star Hankin Patale from Pula Media. Tango. Yeah. I went up there, made my speech, stepped down, had a good day.
And the history was made.
Yeah.
Now we want to talk about, the actual step-by-step process of you getting to submit your work, to a potential client. What is the process that you actually have gone through, in terms of breaking down the scripts, the idea, from the treatment, and actually starting from the conception, when it hits your mind, to paper, to submission, to response, to to prod, to post.
So how ideas come to me, I move around. I use the townships and the hood a lot, mostly from my township. That's where I get my inspiration.
Where are you from?
I'm from Lebwahomu in Limpopo.
Okay, nice.
Yes, that's where I got a lot of my inspiration from. And just meeting people. An idea can hit me from just seeing a character behave somehow, and then I can extend it from there and terrorize it. It's like how I said, e.g., my Machansa concept is because I was at a car wash, and the guys, I was washing my car and I was paranoid and say, what if this guy just takes my car and goes somewhere else? Then that's how I came up with the concept of, let's take it into a movie. Yeah, that's how So I use daily things that happen mostly in South Africa. I think the content is right in front of our eyes that we just turn around. So I take that. Normally, if I'm not at home, I'll write it on a phone, a couple of notes of pointers that I've seen. Then when I get to the office or at home, I break it down into a beat sheet kind of concept document. And then I start refining it, thinking about it, refining it. Sometimes I call a good friend of mine, Temba. He's a brilliant writer. Then we'll discuss it.
Temba who?
Mkhize.
Shout out Tebom 20.
Shout out Mkhize. Yeah. Then we'll bounce. He knows I call him 3 a.m., 4 a.m. He knows very well. I'll just randomly call. Hey, I can't let it go now. We need to talk about it now because if I let it go, I'll forget. So even if I stepped out, it's a night where I'm just having a drink or what, and something hits me, I have to call them because I'm going to forget in the morning what the thing was. So that's how I work. I put it on paper. And then first thing, once I'm done with it, the excitement of being done with it, oh my God, read it, see it's dope. Then onto Google, onto Mnet submissions, portal, choose the channel that I want to submit to, send it through. And then from there, if it gets the green light, I go pitch, prepare a nice presentation. And I'm quite a dramatic pitching person. So even then the page, I'll be talking fast, making examples with hands. I'm just different. I don't know. Some people I can't. I live in the story when I tell them, and I'll change even the sound effects of the way I talk and stuff like that. That's just the way I am. And then once it hits green light, I immediately go straight into pre-production where I bring in my team. We'll be spending hours at the office breaking down the scripts, talking about the locations, in line with the budget that we have for the particular movie. And then from there, once we get that unlock, I go into my audition process, which sometimes when I write, I'm able to write already thinking of a cast member. Like a cast member can drive the story for me, like knowing how they behave from seeing their previous work or knowing them in person. I'm able to stretch their characters more, say, okay, you'll do this, you'll do that. Then I'll put them into situations until the story is done. And then from there, I get a good team. I always make sure I get the best team. Put the best team inside of there. Normally, my favorite departments that I like to bring forward and I like to work closely with is the wardrobe department. It's the art department. Those are my close ones. And obviously, cinematography. But wardrobe art, because besides as a character moves or in the story, when you move through like a building like this, you need to feel the world because it also connects to you emotionally and it tells you a lot about the character. So art is like one of my favorite elements when I'm a director and I'm working with all these people because that's where I create. And even through the art, I'm able to create comedy through the art. Like for example, I would put a character will be sleeping. Everything you can touch or feel or move is art. I would put a tissue there, squashed up, maybe a Vaseline left there. And it's got nothing to do with the scene. I just slide through, and I come to the character, and he's already hitting them. You'll hear them on Twitter. I'm already setting up the base of what kind of movie I'm telling you. It's a comedy. Yeah, that's why there's certain things that I put in. See, that character is sleeping in a weird way. All my opening scenes will have this little thing that just emphasizes what the genre is. And then once I get there, it doesn't get there. So where I also pull out a lot of humor is in edit. Yeah, it's another word I love the most in terms of how I cut. According to whether the beat or the music, with edit on its own, you can create humor. Humor that I didn't even think about on set. I realized when we are cutting, if you to this reaction quickly when this one says this, we caught their eyes looking, or even if the actor was wondering, his eyes were just wandering around. That's why I never want to cut the camera quickly. You just keep, even if I say cut, they know camera guys, they just let it go because maybe they're still in thoughts. Because those little moments, I move around and edit and look for those 2-second things so I can throw in there. You'll find beautiful moments that you can cut into them that will just bring the story to life. And then, then I package it and then I send it to channel and then I hope the country and Africa enjoys it. And which they normally do.
They normally do.
Yeah.
I love that, man. Relatable stories that resonate with the people.
Definitely. That's key.
That's what. Have you noticed also on free platforms such as YouTube? I've been seeing some stuff from KZN. There's one called Madlamini Gesta or something like that. I was very, quite a random piece of content, but they're pulling in those numbers. And that clearly shows you that within the micro-budget space, there is a very, very high demand for this content.
Very. This also gives opportunity to young kids that are still frustrated about how can I get into the portal. I don't think the portal is the way only these days. You've got YouTube, you've got TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watch a lot of TikTok. Because I'm like, Jared, these guys are good. I need to see it. I need to match my content now. I don't post any content. My content, I take it to television. But I'm just saying, don't be frustrated with, I've sent something on the portal and it doesn't work.
True.
Use TikTok, use phone, home, friends, do that comedy or whatever genre you are trying to do. That's the best platform. I found even for those that mostly I get a lot of inboxes and things, people come and go, want to act. I've spotted talent from TikTok and I'll hit them up and I'll say, or take their link and send it to my office and say, please look for this person and bring him. I want to cast him. I want to see what they have got. So TikTok, YouTube, brilliant platforms to showcase your work. I will say almost for free besides the data, but and I personally look, I don't know about other producers or directors, it's a brilliant platform that they can use, that I can spot. I mean, even if the way you think, you can realize, oh, this person thinks of such content, maybe I must bring him closer and let's start working together and we can create something more. So they must not be stressed, depressed that they can't get through to the channel. Those platforms are going to help them get to the bigger platforms.
So true. Currently on the project that I'm working on, which is an action thriller, one of the leading actors is in fact what you might call an influencer. And he's a nice chap. You know, I know people say a lot of stuff about influencers. He's a nice guy. And this is like, I think his very first television gig, you know. And we had an opportunity to have a conversation. And he was telling me that, man, look, TikTok is the new theater. You know, people are talking, you guys were my generation, you know, the school that I'm from, you know, we were holding Shakespeare, you know, or Othello. And he's like, man, you know, and directors would come to see showcases, to see shows. Now directors are opening up their phones and they're checking out TikTok and YouTube to see what people are doing there, you know. And I know it's kind of, there's a culture shock right now that's happening within the space. Obviously, people like myself, thespians, people who are groomed within this space feel like, oh, these kids are coming in and they're just having it easy. But to be honest with you, we need to get along with the times, you know. I think we need to understand what's happening. And if people like myself, people who come from the school that I come from, are all able to open their thinking and open the way they see things and incorporate some of what's happening in the new school to where we come from, I think a beautiful thing can come out of there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So, yeah, I just want them to not worry. That's why I'm saying those platforms are good. You're saying influencers. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand the influencers, the influencer, but I'm saying some people are not really influencers. They're just talented. They just take the phone and record themselves doing a skit of reenacting how maybe a black parent behaves when a child comes back from a night out at night. Those are still related. That's why when I said you can also relate, I know it's relatable content. I think personally, if you were to make it in South Africa,
you can.
The content is right there. Next door, it's in your house.
I want to clarify something because this guy, he also said, I don't see myself as an influencer. You know, an influencer is sort of like put it like in a superficial kind of, you know, personality that sells products. You know, he just says, no, I showcase my talent on these platforms.
Yes.
I get a high number of followers, and then I interact with the brands that I want to interact with in order to make an income from that.
Yes.
So I hear what you're saying and I understand completely. And I think it is about time that we start rethinking the space and how things are done. But now, we're jumping into the more exciting part of the show, which is game time. We're going to play a game called Either Or. All right? So you have an option to choose between two choices that I'm going to put out there for you, okay? So basically, I give you a statement, two options per statement, and you choose one that you prefer over the other. Okay, does that make sense? Voila. Either or. Now, do you prefer a story that's character-driven or that's plot-driven?
How you ask me a difficult question? Character.
And what's the reason for that? I mean,
the reason I say character, maybe it won't make sense. From the character, I'm still gonna get the plot. Yeah, it's a journey of the character. For me, when I create characters, the viewers travel with this character through the story. So I will make the actor or the character go through things. The character will lead me to show me how or what hula hoops should they come across in the story. More than I've just create the plot before I think of the character. I have to think of the character. That's why earlier on I say when I write, I think of the character and I say, what would this person do? When he arrives at the office, what would they do? If he's a character like this, he will get in the office and maybe go straight to the bathroom and have a joint, then come back, and then he's high. They are calling him, he can't hear. I'm just giving a random example. But everything, I think, character leads me to finding the plots in the story.
Love it. Secondly, open ending or closed ending?
Open. Reason being, I think closed. Your question's no right. Because I've done both.
Yeah.
I've done open ending, I've done closed.
Yeah.
But I can still do closed ending. But there's certain things inside there that I'll leave open. So that I come back and do part 2.
Love it. Original sound score or licensed soundtrack?
Original.
Okay. So you've got your guys that you know.
Yes, those brilliant guys that I work with. And all my features, I use original sound scores because it gives me a chance to sit down there and recreate the sounds that are moving in my head when I was blocking. And all you need is you need to find a perfect partner that understands the mind so that they can take out those sounds from your head and they play them on keys or drums, and then to give the story more to it. Because sounds that are already there, yes, maybe you can create a lot of new sounds, and then maybe on a big feature throw in one licensed song that's commercial just to give it an edge of we're in SA.
Awesome. Fast-paced or slow burn?
Fast-paced.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, man. Story needs to move, you know. That's what keeps people engaged, you know.
And I say fast-paced because these days, every time I walk onto set, I walk on with the conscious mind of I'm up against cell phones and TikToks. I'm up against food. I'm up against
Advertising.
Not even advertising. I'm referring into we are watching TV. So if something goes a little bit slow, people tend to keep checking their phones. They miss them all. Next thing, you are out of the movie. The movie is playing on the background.
Yeah,
you're watching.
Yeah.
You are on your phone. So if you hit them with those beats, left, right, and center, then come down a bit, then back to the beat. They don't have time. So the last thing they did, the phone will be here watching. What? You see what happened? What?
And that's what we want.
Yeah, that's placed.
Here's another one. Complex characters or relatable characters?
Relatable.
I love that. Yeah. We want to resonate.
Relatable characters. That's what everybody will just recognize themselves in those characters or recognize someone they know. And that will make more sense, and they'll just get closer to them because they feel like, oh my God, if a character had a situation, they feel like they want to help the character move because they know that situation. So if you do this and you do that, and if you come with other new solutions, that even makes them better because it helps them back at home also. That's what you need to understand about South African market. They're so in touch with their characters or what happens in their daily lives. That's why I feel like if you come and do something too American, they don't receive it well. Yeah. It's like bring a huge dinosaur that's running around the Boaho, Soweto, chowing people. There's chances that the niche market will love it, but maybe the others I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. Social commentary or pure entertainment?
I don't know, social commentary
or pure entertainment. I mean, you don't make stories, and it's okay. I don't think, and sometimes it's neither. Sometimes you can find a great line in between, I mean, you don't make stories that are like going to say, hey, Viva, let's go vote for, I don't know why. Some of the stories you want to make people happy. So
there are still other stories that are trying to portray messages. That's why I was quite a bit. There's a message, not political, but there's a message that I'm trying to get out. Whether it's a message of uniting with family, or a message of forgiveness, or a message of what. That's what I try to push out. But at the end of the day, it's purely for the purpose of entertainment, having the families gather together and have a good laugh.
I love it, man. Known actors or new faces?
That'd be a really, yeah. It's a hard question. It depends that one.
Rametamu.
I can't. Because my formula is to, even if I put 1, 2, no, and then I back it up with new faces, because this is the new ones. Once the main characters are supported by these new ones, and new ones that are talented, so they don't frustrate the known ones, then what happens to the viewer? They get blown away by all this new talent and this character that they don't see them as something from somewhere. They just see this new face doing all these things. It has to be 50-50 for me. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Love it. Experimental films or tried and tested genres?
Tried and tested genres.
Love it. I know. Why reinvent the wheel, eh?
Yeah.
Spinning, make your thing, get out.
Yes.
Let's make it happen. Now we are introducing a new mini segment called Put Them On. Putting on someone means highlighting an upcoming filmmaker, in whatever capacity. So, someone that you feel we should check out, someone who's been on your mind and you think, you know what, guys, check this individual out. They are, whether it's someone within the crew side or in front of the camera, in any capacity within our ecosystem of the film business.
I think Pacey Abab, DOP, think they need to check him out. He's coming up quite good. To me especially, I've worked with him on Comedy Space. Very clean image. Can portray what I'm looking for very well. Themba Msweni also, from a writing point of view, my G, very good. I hope our relationship will take us to grandpa level. Let me come to talent. Kapo Mure.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. He's the next, from a black point of view, he's the next Kevin Hart.
Oh, yeah.
For me. Yeah. Brilliant person to work with. Can give you any range. I think Kapo, from a talent point of view, on the comedic space, he's the next best thing.
And it's funny because we know Capo as, obviously Casper, your best friend. And all of a sudden now he stepped into trust the space and he's just killing it.
If you want to see some of his range, watch Machansa films I've done with him. Watch our latest one, Sugar Mama 1, Sugar Mama 2. Brilliant work that he did there. 6 in the City. First time doing a feature. We did it together. Brilliant. From a talent point of view, I would definitely give it to a couple.
Love it. Now, you've been in this business for 12 years and counting, and I'm sure you've experienced a lot of challenges. What would you say? And some of these challenges are obviously across the board. They are institutional, where you were struggling maybe to find your feet. What are some of the biggest challenges you've experienced as an upcoming filmmaker who's now tried and trusted? I mean, you've got already 3 productions that are currently underway right now that you're pushing. You've shot 27 films, so you've got a working machinery. It's not, you're not working from the boot of your car. You've got an office. You are employing people. You are putting bread on the table. You are taking children to school with the work and your ideas. But what are the challenges you faced getting to the point that you are at, and what is it that you would like to see change within our business across the board?
I think my challenges were mainly when I was still arriving on set, trying to figure out what's what as a junior camera assist is the fact that I don't want the kids that are going to school to study, whether motion pictures, film, or whatever, to get the same pressure from these old school cats that have never went to school for this and want to make people that went to school feel like it's the wrong decision. You're not supposed to go to school for this. We are the one that running this industry. I hate it, and I don't want people that don't have passion for the industry to be working on sets because they kill the morale of the set. Shooting a film is a delicate thing. We can't be sitting there and then already telling people that you are left with 1 hour, let's start doing. You are killing them. It's a film. It's a sensitive thing that you are doing. And just going to a film set because you are looking for a job, it's not the right thing. I think people that must be focused on are these kids that are coming up that are passionate, that are going to put their hearts into the film. And then I know South African people need jobs in South Africa, but hey, I'm just saying, guys out there, this is the film industry. If you are just looking for a job, please try elsewhere because this is a passionate place and we need all those passion from all different departments within the film industry, from lighting to makeup to wardrobe. All that thing needs you to love your job, not just come in there because you want to have a job. You end up bullying people and you end up making people be afraid to open up their minds to their creativity because you are old and you are grumpy. There, I hate it, and I want them to step aside and let the guys that love this business come into the business. So those were some of my challenges when you wanted to navigate or ask or get in. There were the gatekeepers that felt like, no, you should end here. And I feel like more companies must come out that are big enough, which I'm also planning to get to that scale where they create these programs where they incubate all these new kids in. I love what Talent Factory has done. It has done a lot for me. It has done a lot for a lot of people. I think even other companies can incorporate such a thing where they bring in all these new kids and get them exposed to different sets so they can get the actual experience of how things work on set.
Absolutely love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. You should also consider a career in politics because the passion you speak with is electrifying.
Maybe I'm Prime Minister of Arts and Culture.
Love it. Nice one. Last one, quickly, please tell us, what's your all-time African film?
I think my all-time African film is Dulas and Mkhize to Masemola. They're my all-time favorite. I watch them over and over. I can't help it.
And who made those films?
It's me.
Love it.
And I can't help it. I watch them. Even if when family comes, let's watch Mkhize to Masemola. Where the mama says, let's watch Dulas. I keep saying, and I'll sit down and I watch it with them. And I still get amazed by certain things. Oh, even if I'm the one who did that. What? You saw that? I love it. It's my ultimate, between the two, Mkhize and Masemola, but Dulas, from an action comedy point of view, my favorite film.
Yeah, I love it. His favorite films of all time are his films. And that's why we call him Star. Brother, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a very fun, entertaining, and light-hearted conversation. And may your roads be open. May everything that you embark on be manifest. And we trust that you'll be able to open many doors for young entertainers and filmmakers within the space.
Definitely. That's the plan.
Yes, sir.
Viva.